Now we have our second speaker, Professor Zaid Ahmad. Professor Zaid Ahmad is currently the Professor of Philosophy and Civilization Study at the Department of Government and Civilization Study, University Putra, Malaya.
Selamat pagi. No, it's already afternoon. Afternoon, Brother Rahmat and Professor Graft. Meet you again. I think we met in
Germany.
Yeah, we've in a few occasions in Kuala Lumpur. I think. So you are in Germany now, yeah? You're not in I know somewhere here.
It's pagi here.
It's pagi. It's pagi, yeah. So, it's selamat pagi. Okay. Then, right. Well, first of all, allow me to thank the organizer for inviting me to take part on this very, important occasion. Perhaps this is a 9th International Conference on Nusantara Philosophy. Yeah? This is already 9 times, and I hope that this kind of event will continue in the future, inshallah. And of course, special appreciations to the organizer of the seminar, Faculty of Philosophy, Fakultas Filsafat, University Gadjah Mada, and of course, together, inshallah, we pray to the Almighty Allah Subhanahu wa Taala to grant us blessings, strength, and guidance. Purpose of this kind of meeting is to provide space and opportunities for us to engage in a profound discourse around the major theme of local wisdom and post-pandemic era. Of course, it is not easy to see the nexus between what we term as local wisdom and the post-pandemic era. This is due to the fact that this both phrases is of course fall under different epistemological domain. The concept of wisdom is basically an epistemic construct that refer to the values that are already rooted within the life practice and value system of a society or community, and it is something that can only be understood and explained within the context where it is crafted and practiced, or it is developed. It's something that is peculiar to a particular geographical setting, which we call local. Well, can you please allow me to share some, my slide here? Yeah, can you see the slide? This is a very, just a few slides here. Can you see this? Yeah, Rahmat? Yeah, okay. Okay, thank you. Yeah. I will start with some quotes from the Quran. ظهر الفساد في البر والبحر بما كسبت أيدي الناس ليذيقهم بعض الذي عملوا لعلهم يرجعون. This is chaos appears in the land and the sea because of the evil deeds which people's hands have earned, in order to make them taste the flavor of some of their misdeeds, in order that they may come back. And in another verse, وَابْتَغِ فِي مَا آتَاكَ اللَّهُ الدَّارَ الْآخِرَةَ وَلَا تَنْسَ نَصِيبَكَ مِنَ الدُّنْيا وَأَحْسِنْ كَمَا أَحْسَنَ اللَّهُ إِلَيْكَ وَلَا تَبْغِ الْفَسَادَ فِي الْأَرْضِ إِنَّ اللَّهَ لَا يُحِبُّ الْمُفْسِدِينَ. Seek through that which Allah has given you, the home of the hereafter, and yet do not forget your share of the world, and do good as Allah has done good to you, and desire not corruption in the land. This is very important. Don't destroy the land. Indeed, Allah does not like corrupters. In another verse, وَلَنَبْلُوَنَّكُمْ بِشَيْءٍ مِّنَ الْخَوْفِ وَالْجُوعِ وَنَقْصٍ مِّنَ الْأَمْوَالِ وَالْأَنفُسِ وَالثَّمَرَاتِ وَبَشِّرِ الصَّابِرِينَ. And we will surely test you with something of fear and hunger and a loss of wealth and lives and fruits, but give good tidings to the patients. الَّذِينَ إِذَا أَصَبَتْهُمْ مُصِيبَةٌ قَالُوا إِنَّا لِلَّهِ وَإِنَّا إِلَيْهِ رَاجِعُونَ. Who, when disaster strikes them, say, indeed we belong to Allah, and indeed to Him we will return. Well, all these verses actually is very closely related to what happened around us now. We are in a very critical time now, because of this pandemic. Now we want to talk about post-pandemic, or in probably in our language we call it pasca wabah. Pasca wabah. Am I right? I think it's correct. And we want to talk about also kearifan tempatan. It is about the local wisdom. And of course, we want to refer to the civilization of the Malay world. We are talking, our seminar is about the philosophy, Nusantara philosophy, the philosophy of the Malay world and civilization. That is peradaban alam Melayu. I think this is a very, very important topic, and it's very important that all of us, especially the academia, engage in trying to see what kind of wisdom that we have, because we need to have, or we need to find a kind of strengths that we have. That is rooted within our society, to face this, challenges. Well, conceptualization of local. Some thoughts on what do we mean by local? By definition, local is opposite of global. Well, this is what come to our mind when we speak about local. We also, something come in our mind. Global, local versus global, or something like that. And local means specific, while global is general, of course. That is, the general understanding that we have. And this is also congruence with the what we call the understanding of the concept of juz'iyah, which refer to the particular or the specific, and kulliyah, which refer to general. And in this context, the definition of local is relating to a particular space or a specific geographical settings. That is Nusantara. Local culture means the culture that is practiced by local people, while local values means the values that are rooted in the life and culture of the local people. That is, perhaps some understanding of this concept. But what next thing is about local versus global. We have the concept of local knowledge, local wisdom, local values, indigenous knowledge, traditional knowledge. And of course, local knowledge, that some people use indigenous knowledge, And some people also use traditional knowledge is knowledge that people in a given community had developed over time and continue to develop. And of course, I'm not saying that there is no influence of something that come from outside the local. No, because the culture is of course dynamic, and we are open to accept or to adopt. Some kind of values that come from outside our society. It is based on experience embedded in community practices, institutions, relationships, and rituals, and held by individual or communities. And we know that this is, when we talk about local knowledge, local values, that is something belong to us. Of course, there is a sense of what we call a sense of ownership. We have the ownership of those values and practices. We are sharing them in common. Of course, when we talk about the civilization of the Nusantara or civilization of the Malay world, we have too many things that we share in common around this area. Civilization of the Malay world or Nusantara Malay. When we talk about Nusantara Malay values, we're talking about the civilization of the Malay world. The Malay world or the Malay sphere, Dunia Melayu or Alam Melayu. It's a concept that has been used to denote several Malay notions, or several Malay nations for that matter. And it is derived from and developed from diverse interpretation of Malay and Malayness, either racial, linguistic, or cultural group. We are normally referring to, racial, and perhaps sometimes we use the term ethnic group, linguistic and cultural groups. And conceptualization of the term Malay or the term Malay is largely based on the predominantly Malay cultural influence demonstrated through the spread of the Malay language. And we know that in the past, that is, the Malay language is considered as the lingua franca of this region. And we have no problem understanding the writing of the people in Aceh, in Malaysia, in Java, in Banjarmasin, and even in Makassar, because they are using the same language, at least in the literary traditions, and mostly literary tradition is at that time is about something to do with religious teaching, or buku agama, buku-buku agama atau kitab kuning at that time, and the development of local education, pesantren, and so on. That will will allow all this book written by different scholars around the Alam Melayu, to be read and to be learned, in different places, in Kelantan, in Patani, in Aceh, in Java for that matter. So it is, but now it's a little bit different, because Indonesian language and Malaysian language is quite different now. If I read the Quran, or if I read newspaper, Indonesian newspaper, probably 60% I don't understand. Because although I speak the same language, I can understand, I can talk to Rahmat, but when come to the writings, the newspaper. So it's not easy for me to understand because of the evolution of the language. You are using a lot of what do you call it, short form things like that. Like,
don't worry, sir, we don't understand either.
Yeah, correct. Yeah, like you say dubes means duta besar. Menlu is menteri luar, so that one is quite strange for me. I cannot understand that, but it's it's still within the context of Nusantara. Yeah. Well, tamadun and peradaban. So localization of the terminology. I started with some verses of the Quran, to show that the civilization of this region is very much influenced by the Islamic teaching, the Arabic teaching. So we have these two important words, tamadun and peradaban. Tamadun is also from Arabic and peradaban is also from Arabic. But these two words has been localization, that we have been using that word in the local context, although both of them were Arabic loan words that we adopted in our language. And the process of Malay, probably I would say Malayization and indigenization of this word, tamadun is actually in Malaysia we use a lot of tamadun, but in Indonesia I think peradaban is more popular in terms of usage. Daily usage. But in Malaysia also we use interchange, peradaban and tamadun, which refer to civilization. And this, the localization of the meaning we actually been giving the local sense of the word. Tamadun, we don't use that because in Arabic initially you have to say tamadun with the tashdid, but now it's become tamadun in our language. Peradaban is from adab, of course, and we put per adab and plus peradaban. And of course, local wisdom and indigenous philosophy that we can derive from all this, terminology that we have, is, the meaning that we have given to this word, is part of the local culture that we have developed so far. Post-pandemic era, the predicament and civilizational catastrophe, we call it malapetaka peradaban, because it is something to do with the current and the future of our own civilization, The current pandemic, which is global, knows no boundaries and has to be solved internationally, may soon be solved through international cooperation and the development of vaccines, the first of which was created by 2 Turkish immigrants to Germany and is being marketed by international cooperation, symbol of the international collaboration happening across the world. That is, I take it from the statement of Noam Chomsky, And of course, we know that this pandemic is global. It's a global phenomena. It's not local. But of course, when it comes to dealing with this problem, we have no choice but to look at it from local context. So this is a statement by Chomsky. Today, our global civilization faces the profound challenges of the COVID-19 pandemic, which has thrown up a wide range of discontents and pose a complex dilemma of how to balance individual impulse and freedom with collective responsibility. Lockdowns, border closes. I cannot go to Indonesia now, because of the border close. Otherwise, I'll be in Yogyakarta now, because of this, this pandemic. I cannot. I mean, for 2 years now, I don't do any traveling. So we are locked down within our own confinement. We cannot. So thanks to technology that we can have this kind of seminar, online. Then we can see each other, although not physically. So of course I miss Yogyakarta. I've been there many times. I miss the what do you call it, bebek goreng, and I miss the sumptuous food in Balaraus, and that we cannot do. That is something that is not normal for us today, because of this issue. Lockdown, but well, at the same time, the coronavirus has shown a harsh light on existing inequalities in our civilization, from the distribution of economic resources, access to health and justice services. And this is, I took it from, Brundtland, Adam Brundtland. Now, of course, when this pandemic outbreak come in, we're talking about the new normal that we have to go through, or no, we have to live with this pandemic. What new normal that come to our mind? Because that is something new for us, new for everyone. When we talk about new normal, what do we understand by new normal? I mean, maybe we have different understanding, or we have different things in our mind when we talk about new normal. Well, I can just list down here some of the things that might come to our mind when we talk about new normal. What is new? Maybe WFH, work from home, is new to us. We cannot go to our office. We cannot see our students. We cannot do this and that. Work from home. That is something new for us. And perhaps personal hygiene practices, frequent hand washing, face masks, and so on. That is new to us. We are not used to it before. And now we have to wash our hands frequently, and we have to wear, face masks anywhere we go, and things like that. And of course, in some countries, they are no longer, putting up their face mask. But in our place, in Malaysia especially, we have to have that. Otherwise you'll be fine. You'll be fine for breaking this, what we call SOP, standard operating procedure. If you go to the public, and you have to put on your face mask. Rapid development of gig economy. This is something new. Online businesses, e-hailing, and things like that. We are not going out from. We can just use apps to order foods and things like that. And more time with family, which is maybe it's good, but as we know that there are so many problems when people have more time, with the family. There are cases where the what do you call it in our language, perceraian, atau perceraian, family break up, because of this. Less face-to-face meeting, no handshake. I cannot handshake, cannot touch each other. Of course, we cannot hug each other. In the past, we can hug each other. Less social gathering. it's not. It's no longer. We are no longer have that kind of freedoms to have gathering. Less movement, less mobility, etc. And we are facing that I mean, in religious term, we call it that the breaking point, that we have to bear with it. We have to accept the fate that the fact that we cannot do that. We are helpless, and of course it will affect a lot of aspect of human relations. Of course. We realize also that we have. I mean, our economic is very fragile because there are so many people are affected by this. This new normal. And in terms of culture, there are the change of values, and of course education. That is is part of our our daily business. Yeah, new reality that we need to be relooked. The way we conduct our education. And my next point is knowledge, education, and sustainability in turbulent time, or in chaotic time. The world is facing a confluence of three major crises that threaten the survival of humanity: and internationalism, solidarity, and education are and internationalism, solidarity, and education are the only way to solve them. This is also, I quoted from Chomsky. Yeah? And we are now when we talk about the to relook at our system, we have to search for our inner strength. Yeah? We have to search for our own inner strength, and that is indigenous value. That is the role of local wisdom. We have to look for what we have, the asset that we have, and philosophy and knowledge, and of course indigenous knowledge and wisdom and education. We have to look back, at the basic purpose of our education. We sure that our education can produce a student that can face this kind of problem. Can they sustain with the local values that they practice through our the process of education that they have gone through. And the next point is the local wisdom and the future of civilization, rethinking and reimagining our future development. It is no longer the same. Of course, we have that the past experience, but we can learn from the past experience. But there are so many things that we need to reconsider. We need to look, at need to imagine, what's going to happen in the future development. Can pandemic bring down civilization? Are we prepared for that? What kind of response that we are preparing? That is very, very important. Otherwise, we will be, but our society, in fact, will be in trouble. So, how sustainable is our development, or how sustainable is the system that we have in the society? How resilient that the system that we have in our society? So, this is the time where our education, our the system that we have facing a big challenge. either we can continue, or we can sustain, or we will be, facing a bleak future because of that. And last but not least, in some of the conclusion that I can bring up here, we need to find our own local strength, or our own inner strength, based on the local wisdom that we have. But now, what are the local wisdom that we have to think about that, and we have to dig, the rethinking civilization, knowledge and education. We have to look back, what we have done in the past, and what are we going to do in the future with regard to development of knowledge and education. Different form of challenges require different way of thinking, of course, and we know that we are vulnerable. We know that we must work for sustainability. We must build resilience in terms of social security, and we must build our sense of solidarity and togetherness. And this, these values of togetherness that we already have, in our society, in the practice of our society, a sense of togetherness, a sense of willingness to help each other in difficult time. We are brothers. They are our our neighbors. They are our relatives, and so on. This sense of togetherness in the society that we have inherited from from the practice of the the society in the past. The concept of cooperation and social relations, and the role and function of every segment of the society when facing difficult time. Well, I take some of the word of wisdom. Some of the phrases that we can read from the Malay Hikayat Malim Deman. Malim Deman. We know that this is a popular hikayat, and there are things that they put it here to describe, the role and function of every segment of the society. So I try to translate it. I don't know whether it is the correct translation or not. Yang capek datang bertongkat, yang buta beraba-raba, yang tuli leka bertanya, yang kecil terambing lintang, yang jarak tolak-tolakkan, yang pendek bertinjau-tinjau, masing-masing dengan gunanya. The blind keeps groping, the deaf keeps asking, the small runs, the small kid runs helter-skelter, the distance keeps pushing, the shorter keeps peeping, and all of us have the role to play, especially in this difficult time. Yang kurap mengekor angin, yang pekak pembakar meriam, yang buta penghembus lesung, yang lumpuh penghalau ayam, yang pekung penjemuran, yang kurap pemikul buluh, masing-masing dengan ayatnya. The ringworm keeps with wind flow, the deaf igniting the cannon, because you cannot they cannot hear the sound of the cannon. The blind, the blind, what do you call it? Penghembus. Penghembus is I don't know what but the blind. Penghembus lesung, the disabled chasing the chicken, the boss doing the drying, yang pekung penjemur, yang kurap memikul bulu, the ringworm carry the bamboo, masing-masing dengan ayahnya, all carry their duties. This is the kind of society that we have in the past. You know, we are playing. Playing our own role in the society. You know, all of us have different capacity, different ability, different different skill in the society. And now it is a time. This is a time that all of us will have to work together. To face this kind of challenges, so that we can we can help each other. We can live with the new normal, and then, of course, with positive way, inshallah, we will back to normal in the future when we can overcome this kind of problem. I think this is some of the thoughts that I can give this afternoon. We can discuss a bit further, because of the topic is very general, so that my thoughts is also very general. Probably we can have a more specific discussion or certain issue that I have raised here in my presentation. So thank you very much for the opportunity that is given to me. Thank you.